Before you head out onto the water with your stand-up paddleboard, it's really important you plan your paddle to help ensure you and your paddling buddies have a fun and safe SUP session. Make sure you consider the following: the wind and the weather, your location, the tide or the river conditions, appropriate clothing, your personal flotation, communication and emergency, your equipment, and the correct leash. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about picking your paddle location. Wherever you are in the world, there are so many great places to SUP. On the seas, on the estuaries, rivers, lakes or canals, basically wherever there is water and you are permitted. But how do you decide where to paddle? And what do you need to consider to ensure you not only have an enjoyable time, but also a safe time out on the water? This video is good to watch in combination with other videos on wind and weather and tide and river conditions to help pick the right location. In general, there are two ways to pick your paddle location. Either you choose a location you want to paddle and you keep an eye out for the suitable wind, weather and tide and river conditions, or you pick a day that you'd like to paddle and you select the appropriate location based on the conditions on that day. Both require you to have a good knowledge of the paddling areas as well as the best conditions for paddling there. So what do you need to consider when picking a paddle location? Firstly, the wind. Which wind direction is best for paddling there? Which direction offers you the most shelter and the least choppy waters? And possibly even assist you on your paddle. Keep an eye out for this wind direction on the forecast and paddle when it's most suitable. Knowing how the wind and weather will impact your paddle and the ability to read the wind and the weather forecast is essential to picking a good and safe paddle location. If the wind is above 15 miles an hour, best to avoid paddling. If the wind is 10 to 15 miles an hour, good to select a shelter location like small lakes, rivers or canals. If it's less than 10 miles an hour, then you have way more options. Offshore, cross-shore and onshore. Not sure what these items mean? Then check out our other videos all about wind. But always consider the wind and the impact it will have on your paddling location. Getting it wrong could mean you're unable to return to your landing spot or even have a nasty wind to paddle against. Next up, is it a tidal area? And how does the tide affect the paddle location? Can you paddle there in all states of the tide or only over high? You may want to use the tide to assist you on your paddle. Do your tide research, seek local knowledge and consider not only the tide times and heights but also the speed of the water flow to determine how this might impact your paddle. You might choose to paddle at the time when the tidal flow can assist you. Check out our other videos all about tides to help you choose your paddle location. If the location is a river, consider the water height and the flow. What river height is needed to be able to paddle there, and what is the ideal flow to make it safe? You'll also need to consider your launch and landing locations. Is there parking, a public slipway, good access to the water via a riverbank or beach that allows safe water access? Also, what are the potential hazards that you may also need to consider, such as weirs that you may need to walk around, such as shipping channels, which you might not want to even paddle across, boats, moorings, wildlife, fishermen, and other water users. It's best to avoid areas where there's lots of boats and shipping moving around. If you do find yourself in a busy area, stick to the shoreline. Wherever you choose to paddle, make sure your equipment is appropriate. For example, if you're paddling in any kind of moving water, tidal or non-tidal, then a quick release coiled leash should be used. Check out our other videos on leashes for more information on this. This is very important. Also, is your board suitable for choppy open waters or is it more suited to calm conditions? There's lots of things to think about when picking your paddle location. Spending some time at home looking at maps, wind forecasts and tide times, river heights is a good idea to increase your knowledge base to help make the right paddling decisions. Remember, a location might be the perfect place to paddle one day, but a bad choice the next. So do your research beforehand to allow you to pick the right day for your chosen location or the right location for your chosen day. We really hope you found this video informative and useful. Hopefully you know now how to pick the right paddling location to help ensure you have an enjoyable and safe SUP. Please share this information with other stand-up paddleboarders to help keep everyone SUP safe out on the water.